Hello, hello. Oh my goodness, what time is it? What time is it? It's 2:43 a.m. 2:43 a.m. That's what it is. 2:43 a.m. Um, as the title says, um, I think it's that time. This is tough. I know. Yeah, it's that time of the year that I'm having sleepless nights again, and it's not actually new to me because um people who have known me on a personal level, now at least have a kind of a glimpse on my struggles, my mental health struggles, and um I've been quite a little bit kind of open about it, which of course it was tough in the beginning for me to even open up that that I I was actually once admitted in a mental hospital simply because I'm Ugandan. If you're coming across this video for the first time, I'm Ugandan, born and raised in Uganda. Um, yeah, from the northwestern side of Uganda. That's Arua. I was born and raised in Arua, and um, simply because things to do with mental illness, I should say, are kind of still not embraced in my society, in the society I grew up in. Okay, I know these few followers I have. Of course, most of them are people that are we have known and interacted with. So yeah, mental health. Let me just say mental health. Mental illness is kind of still a taboo, I should say, to talk about it, simply because the society sees mental illness as something uh, caused. It's either a misfortune, it's either a curse. Okay, there's so many name calling to it, and personally, I was also one of those people. Actually, sounds like funny, right? But yeah, I was one of those people actually, who used to think for you to end up in a mental hospital, you might have had an issue with someone, you might have been cast, you might have just the same way everyone else has seen it, until I myself f- found myself in a mental hospital one day, which was a very hard pill for me to swallow. But I'm glad. A part of me is glad that I had that moment, because if I didn't have it, I don't know where I would be right now. Um, so yeah, why I'm here, why I decided to just do this. This is my first live ever that I've done on Facebook. Why I just wanted to come and do this live here is, of course, to keep this memory of today here, simply because I feel like I'm in that space again where I feel like I'm hitting a rock bottom. I don't want to say rock bottom, but I'm feeling um all the I'm not really feeling negative as such, but I'm getting back insomnia, which is not good. And one of the things that landed me in a mental hospital was not being able to sleep. So it's getting about two to three nights in a row, which is not a good thing. And yet I have to be at work in the morning. By the way, it's coming to 3 o'clock. Yet I have to be at work at 6. But we will make it. Cause yesterday I didn't literally get to sleep at all, but I managed to make it to work, and I didn't think I would be functional, but thank God I was not as functional. Don't mind my hair. I've been wanting to cut this hair, but I've still not been able to. Yeah, so yeah, I'm having that moment, and uh, uh again I feel, and it since the last 3 years, since I was hospitalized, um but it's not since the last 3 years. I know this, I feel this, I know this has been part of me for the longest time. Last year, 3 years ago, was just when I got diagnosed. My first diagnosis was saying bipolar, but then I ended up meeting quite a number of other psychiatrists who then ended up saying, no, this is not bipolar, this is PTSD, which is post-traumatic stress disorder, and then plus severe depression. So that was the final diagnosis that I left the hospital with. And yeah, I've been open, simply just by, okay, by the diagnosis that I had from the hospital, and then by just coming home and being able to research, to learn more about my situation, and then just being wanting to be um, a mouthpiece for people who struggle, because the struggles may seem like my struggles, like I said, I've, everyone knew me as a normal human being until the news of Trevor ending up in a mental hospital came out. My own family knew that I was okay. My own mom knew that I was okay. My own siblings knew that I was okay. My own friends knew that this okay, and it it's something my family still struggles with up to today, I guess, though they have not been open to talking to me about it. Yeah, but I'm not ashamed. um I'm not ashamed that I just fear, I just fear for what they feel. um Even my hospitalization has still been something people tiptoe around, no one wants to talk about. Even me, when I'm open, actually I've opened up and talked about my my hospitalization with strangers, with people out there than my family. But it's okay. As long as they don't want to talk about it, I'm not going to bring it up to them until maybe one day when on individual level they're able, even my friends. I remember during that time of my hospitalization, right before my hospitalization, during that breakdown that I had these particular friends that, oh my goodness, I put them through hell. I put them through hell, and yeah, they then kind of sensed something was going right with, or something was not alright with me, but they were not. Even now, after I was hospitalized, after I got out of the hospital, I realized they were still kind of um not free with me. I don't know if they have been over it already. I don't know. I honestly don't know if they've been over that situation. But like I said, I'm not ashamed to share about it, but it's real. So now I'm glad that I am now in a position that when I'm having insomnia, when insomnia kicks in, I know it's time to see a therapist. It's time to seek help. It's time, and that's I just had this so strongly today that I even tried getting onto the phone. Yeah, I'm currently living in Canada. There's this uh, there's uh, there's what, an organization called Counseling Connect, where you're able to get therapists uh, yeah, who are familiar with your culture. So under this Counseling Connect, there are even, I think, therapists of African descent that I think yeah, I've ever been I've ever been I've ever seen a therapist with them. So yeah, I think it just today I'm just like, you know what, it's high time I talk to someone now, because I don't want to keep, I no longer want to just think I can deal with it or I can handle it by myself, you know. I don't want to do it. So yeah, it's almost 3 or 4 nights in a row. It first started, I was sick. I've been sick actually. I've been treating pneumonia, and then the pneumonia ended, and then I was supposed to go back to work. I realized I wasn't feeling the motivation to go to work. I wasn't feeling like communicating with people as much because you guys, I'm a communicator. I like to talk. Talking is like my gift. Communicating is like my gift. So this past week that ended, I was not. At first, there it was like it was the sickness, you know. Now the sickness is gone. I needed to be motivated like I used to be. And me and my work, I never joke, by the way, simply because I just think about what this work does for me and what it does for my family, and I get up. But last week, I just didn't have the motivation to go to work, you know. And then I took advantage of the sickness, you know. And then I felt I'm like I'm not good. I just didn't have the motivation to go to work, and I went for the first time yesterday. I think I just went for the first time yesterday because now you've been away from work for like a week, and if you don't go back, I remember I was saying if I was even trying to look for actual reasons to not go yesterday, but I'm like, whenever you can, this is not your father's company, so if you're not going to go to work, like these people can choose to fire you, and I don't want to. I can't lose one job without having another one at hand. Yeah, and then I was just thinking, I'm like, the girl, this is getting out of hand, you know. Your demons are kicking back. So it's time to see a therapist already. And I see therapists every now and then simply because um I started seeing a counselor. The memories of here me seeing counselors started long ago, but I don't really have a collection of them so much because I've shared with it here, which is some of the reasons for my PTSD. Um, um, my mom is living with HIV. She got it before I was born. Um, yeah, I'm just sharing this for people who might come across this video for about anything about me for the first time. Um, yeah, she got the HIV before I was born. So when she had me, she was 100% sure that I contracted it because she gave birth to me in a grass-thatched cow dung smeared floor with no light in the middle of the night and by herself with the help of her 10-year-old son by then. So yeah, that kind of scenario. So she was well 100% sure I got the virus. I got HIV from her. So when she came out in 1994, 1995, when I was 4, 5 years old, she came out. She came out. She was sharing with the world how her and her daughter were living with HIV. I went through the stigma with her. So when she started her treatment, of course she started it. She was tagging me along in all these things. We even did take local herbs. I remember us leaving 6 a.m. in the morning to go to a herbalist's home to take local herbs that were supposedly to cure HIV. I went through that. Then when she sought for formal health care, when she was going to the hospitals, she tagged me along. But apparently, then I remember I was told counselors, medical people just kept ignoring me. They were waiting for me to fall sick, maybe so that they could now include me, things like that. So I started having encounter with counselors that young, but I don't really have a collection of it. I remember these counselors will just buy for me a snack and let me have their conversations with my mom and let me go. But the counseling that I remember going for the first time with my two legs was when I was in secondary school. Secondary school here in Canada, that is like junior high, junior high school, I think. Yeah, junior high school. So I was in my O level, getting for my O level, ordinary level, yeah. In Uganda we call it ordinary level and advanced level. That's high school. So I had an incident at school where the news of my HIV status kind of broke in the school I was in. The whole school got to know. I, that still remains my worst day ever. No, I have two worst days in Monigals. That day and then the day I peed on my bed. Those two remain my worst days in Monigals. So yeah, this news spread and I lost all the friends I ever had that day except one friend who stuck with me. Yeah, who's so special to my heart up to today. Yeah. So yeah. So when this incident happened, I kind of tried. My mom was even called. She came and took the entire student's body to tell them no, Favour is actually not HIV positive. Blah 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 blah. Yeah, but that didn't sink well with me. I remember planning a deal, and these girls don't know this up to today. That it kind of I kind of figured it because I remember I was finishing senior four, and by this time around I didn't have a boyfriend, like technically a boyfriend. I would have guys approach me, and then somewhere along the way they come across my HIV story, and they, they disappear, they ghost, they disappear, things like that. So, and it got to me because people disappear. Someone who once met you and professed love to you, the next time you see this person, the person just walks right straight by you and act like they never met you before. And I kind of in, inquired along the way and realized, oh, it is the HIV story that has gotten to them. That's why they're ignoring me. So I don't know. It kind of clicked in me that Trevor, these girls here, these girls, these friends of yours, you need to take them to a health facility and do your test your blood, test for HIV, and share the result with them. Let them be your mouthpiece tomorrow out there. Now that you guys are finishing uh, O level and going out there, so that in case this story comes out again out there, they'll be the ones to defend you. Yes. So I was like, okay. Um, so I figured a way, and I tagged these friends of mine along. I don't know how many we were that day, but I took them to AIDS Information Center. I lied to them. I told them an auntie of mine was working there. No auntie of mine ever worked there. So I went to the reception. I told everything. They took my blood, and then I went to the counselor. Before they take your blood, you first go see a counselor. I saw the counselor. I explained to her my ordeal. I told her my entire story, and but good enough, these counselors really knew my mom. They really knew my mom's story, so they just connected. Oh, so you're Helen's daughter? I'm like, oh yeah. She's like, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. So I told them the story. I told them this is what I want, and then yeah, I did. They did take my blood. I think a few of my friends also ended up testing for HIV too. And then they shared my result with all my friends, and she kind of counseled us and what. So that was my first encounter with counseling, where I went by myself, official encounter with counseling. And then from there, I kept going back because after this, I had a boyfriend where the incident also came up that, hey, this girl you're with, I don't know if you know, she says I'm positive. And then the guy blows up with me, Favor, what was your plan? Were you planning to kill me? Blah, 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 blah. Stories. Again, back to the counselor. So AIDS Information Center became my place to go to anytime some some crazy story about me came. I would go there crying and they would counsel me. So those are my experiences with therapy. And I think so every time I got I don't okay, I can't honestly for some reason I don't know why I can't call those counseling sessions that I had when I was doing these routine HIV tests. I don't know why I can't equate it to therapy because it was only specific. The counseling was only specific to the HIV. So yeah, along down the road, your girl here travels to US. So while in US, 2 weeks into being in US, she has a mental breakdown. Like a real mental breakdown. Like I really lost it. Yeah. It's every time I think about it, I'm like, wow, yeah, your girl lost it. I don't know if it, I really don't know how to equate that moment. I really completely lost my mind that time, I can't tell, but it happened. So yoga lost it, and yeah, she ended up being admitted in a mental hospital for 10 good days. After the 10 good days, and the losing it actually just began from so much has happened in my life for the past 30 years then. And then I travel to US. This time around, this is the first time ever that I'm being by myself completely 24. Like I was living with my friend, but my friend goes to work. Wait, by the way, in 1 week, and remember, in the 1 week I was with her, in the first 1 week I was with her. After from the time she picked me from the airport, we would encounter each other like, yeah, like really. That's how the Western world is, guys. Um, it's lonely. So yeah. Then from there, I I had the jet lag, Ugandan time and US. There was 8 hours time difference. I went through all that, and yeah, so I just couldn't sleep at all. Like I just couldn't. I didn't sleep for like a week. By the way, before my hospitalization, I had not slept for like I didn't blink my eyes like this. I was constantly awake, not blinking my eyes, and what? And then I'm told our brain rests when we sleep. So this brain, because it wasn't sleeping at all, it wasn't resting. And then the next thing is the brain hung. And there I was in a mental hospital, handicapped, you guys. I was, for me, the traumatic, most another traumatic moment for me was being put in handicap's by police officers, taken to a mental hospital. Yeah. I remember crying because I'm like, in my country where I come from, it's all the criminals that are put in handicap's, not me. I'm not a criminal. I'm not a criminal. I'm not a criminal. I remember crying and what and what. But that handicap was what took me to my freedom, to me becoming my most authentic self, which I still struggle. Like I said, there are moments that hit me, and then I go to the insomnia again. I see, and this moment right here is one of those moments, and I've just recognized it, and I think it's high time I go to therapy. And yeah, so that's when the entire time I was in the hospital, guys, like I was like, I was just given sleeping pills to sleep, and that was it. And antidepressant, but and then talking. I was just talked to, and next thing is I saw even a better favor, not the favorite, like not the favorite who was. Mhm. I saw my 15-year-old self coming back, my 10-year-old self coming back, the favor who saw a world so perfectly, who had so many dreams, who yeah, I saw that girl coming back, and she just came back so happy, so jolly, so positive, so everything. Yeah. And then as she was coming back, she had this transition, this supposed to be life changing opportunity to come to Canada, which is supposed to be the best thing that has happened to me. But every now and then, just being here in Canada, I have these moments where it hits me. I feel lonely. I feel I want to be with my family. I feel, and that's why I think I have these demons that are coming back to right now, simply because I'm a mother. I'm a mother, and through one of my recovery journeys was, especially with my PTSD and everything, we went through my traumas with the therapist, and one of the big things that highlight my life is having been raised by a single mom, my mom, but my dad is living, and having not had my dad in my life all through. Okay, he has been there in the picture for the 20 years of my life, for the last 20 years of my life. My dad has been there in the picture, but in a passive way. I've never got to live with him and things like that. So the 15-year-old me had harbored this anger so much, very strong rage, asking questions. Why? What have I done wrong? Why is this man not in my life? What's going on? What happened? What happened between these two human beings that I can't get to have the life I've dreamt for myself, the life I see that my father could give me, and I wasn't getting it. So this anger, as a teenager, this anger, 15-year-old is not an easy one. So this anger got the best of me. I made certain decisions and things like that. And um, I think for the last 3 years, what keeps getting me to a dark space is I'm a, I'm, I'm a mother. I have a daughter who who is my crown, like who she's the one who makes me wake up to this bed and, like, what, go to work and what. And um one of the things that hit me so hard after my therapy, during my therapy, was like, do you know that you're raising exact the same exact favor is who you're raising your daughter right now. And because, but then in all that, what hurt me so much was now favor. The idea of me traveling, leaving Uganda was not to come and be away from my dad. The idea was I was coming to pave way for us, for me and her. But I didn't know that that way will take this long. Because when me and her dad separated, I went along with her. And I, what, look, sometimes I beat myself over it. I sometimes feel like maybe I was being so selfish. I taking her. The fact that maybe now that I'm not there for her as her mom, because I took her, the idea of taking her was, sorry, let me come. Sorry about that. The idea of me taking her then was that looking at the scenarios by then, the father, yeah, was building, was in the process of building a life with another woman, and I've had my own struggles with issues with okay, yeah, that's one of the things that I beat myself for, because I feel like every decision I've made for my daughter is based on my life experience, which may not be correct, you know. Maybe you never know, her story could have been different if I played it, if I didn't use my own personal story, upbringing and everything to judge the situation for her, and then I make the decisions based on those things, you know. Those are the things I beat myself for. So the idea I went with her was I was going to be there for her, be the mother and be everything, though. And then she would have these periodic moments with her dad, because the dad is also not, the dad doesn't leave home, the dad works away from home always. So the ideal plan was that as time goes, when the dad is around, she can have time to bond with the father, but I will not let my child be raised by another woman. That was the decision. Then I leave the country in 2020. I come. The idea was I'll come or reorganize, settle, go for her. Apparently, guys, the immigration systems in these countries don't work like the way we think in our heads that don't work. So it's now 3 years down the road. Actually, last week I made 3 years in Canada. And then it's 3 years down the road that I still don't have this girl. My daughter is now living in different homes. Okay, these are homes of family, yes, but it's not the same thing. It's not the same as being with your biological parents. And I remember promising my 15-year-old self that I was going to give my children everything that I didn't have. Yeah, I was going to give my children everything that I didn't have. Oh, and most importantly, I was going to give my children a home, a stable home, a home with mom and dad. Yeah, that's what I remember. That's what I promised my 15-year-old. I think I said make that promise for myself when I was 11, 12. Because I remember when I met my dad, I was at 10 years old. I was so excited to finally meet my dad. And when I saw that he was a very responsible man with a good job, he's a teacher by profession, and teachers used to be like, you know, the icons of the society. And I knew with him I'd hit a jackpot. I was going to have a very good, beautiful life. And when things didn't turn out to be like that, it hurt me. My 15-year-old self, yeah, that was 14. I was 14, making 15 that year. I think I was 15. I don't remember, but yeah. I remember that self of mine was so outraged by the way things had turned out to be for me. And I told myself, Ever, you know what? Okay, this has happened, but you're going to give your children the best. So I'd promised myself I was going to give my children a home. I was going to give my children a family, something I felt I didn't have, you know? And that's what has been since I had my daughter. I was willing to settle for all that it could be for her to just be able to have a family. And when I lost that, I think that's when my world just came crumbling down. And it did hurt me every other time that I disappointed her. I had not given her the home that I promised that I would give all of my children. And for that, I think I wasn't being a good parent to her. This is before I had this mental breakdown and I had this therapy. But I feel like the awareness, because I even did enroll for masters in counseling psychology. Whew, every time I was in class was tears. Like, it's studying all these different theories, that human development theory, attachment theory, and I just looking at everything that I've already done so wrong with her. And then the distance, just the distance, the 3 years has been so tough on me, guys. 3 years not being able to be there for my child, and she's also not there with her father, and then not knowing now the damages this can cause to her because of the damages I've experienced myself, guys. That's just been way, way, way overwhelming for me. So for that reason, every now and then when I have these overwhelming emotions and thoughts, I do go for therapy. And I don't know this right now if it's the 3 years that I've made in Canada that's weighing me down, but I know all I want right now in this life is to be with my child, to make up for the time I've lost together, to make up for, to have these open conversations. I just want to be with her. Like, that's all I want right now. So I don't know what's weighing me down, but that's what I need to figure out as soon as possible. So I just felt I should come here, keep this here as a memory that on this day I was having this tough time. I was having my down moments again. The insomnia is coming back, and it's not a good thing. So I think it's time for me to speak to a therapist already. Yeah, it's time for me to speak to a therapist because it's 3 o'clock. I've still not slept, and I'm supposed to be at work. I have school going on in the evening. I'm in class. There's so much going on today. The same thing. I went to work. I didn't sleep well last night. I went to work. I came back. I had to be in class, and I was hoping that I was going to sleep. I didn't sleep, and I'm still here. So the insomnia is kicking back, and that's not a good sign. Time to see a therapist already. And yeah, I'm just glad that I have this consciousness, awareness, and I know there's so many people out there who struggle like this. Sometimes we are stuck and we don't know who to talk to. We think we can figure it out. By that, we're just causing more damage. Please, if there's any way you can reach for help, please do so, because I think mine it's the time already. I've already booked with Counseling Connect here, and thank God it's free therapy. I'm not paying any cent for it. All I just have to do is avail my time. So yeah, that has been it for me with my struggles with mental health. I've just realized, yeah, it's another time again. So yep. Sorry for the tears, but they're part of the journey. Thank you.